Today we're here to discuss Chapter 17 of Chem 1046 Summer Class, Aqueous Ionic Equilibrium. So I would like to start out by mentioning that I really like the acid buffer solutions, and it was pretty easy to learn in theory. I also really liked how we dealt with that on the lab, and like with all the color changes and the charges and measuring pH with the devices. With like the little device that we use, really fun. It was a lot more fun than last class, I think. There was a lot of color changes too, and like I already did that last semester, I remember. So I was very familiar with that already. Um, and I can say I didn't struggle with much this chapter as much as the previous, but I was trying to understand solubility a little better with pH. Again, just reading on my own and checking the notes was a little more easier to make me understand the concept better. And overall, it was a really good chapter, I would say. But I would like to know, of course, what you think and what your experience was.
For this chapter was a little bit easier to understand, to grasp. And one part I liked from the 1045 was titration, when you're trying to get the unknown, to know what's the unknown, and by using unknowns. I like one subject that I had a little harder time to understand was the molar solubility. It was a little bit challenging because it involved understanding both the equilibrium concept and how to apply the solubility product concept, the KSP. I had a little problem actually. I struggle especially by setting the table, and how to balance, and how if you trying to um build up a solution, or trying to find out what the solution. The ice table really got me. How I overcome that challenge. It's an extra time reviewing the steps of the experiment, and how to set the ice table, and I watched some videos to help me understand it.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
This chapter was a little bit more complicated. It was a lot of more equations to know than the other chapters. The chapter that, like, the part that confused me the most was the common ion on solubility. I couldn't really determine which ones were soluble, which ones were not, because I knew that if it fully disassociated and like dissolved, then it was soluble. But if it didn't, it wasn't. But I just didn't know how to figure it out. That higher pHs equal an increase in OH, which makes it more basic. But one thing I did understand was the Henderson's equation, how to find like how much buffer is in something using pH equals pKa over base acid log. I found that equation super easy to do. All you had to do was just plug in the numbers where they need to go, and it got you a pH. Um, and based off if it was 0 to 6, it was acidic, 7 was neutral, and then 8 to 14 was acidic, or sorry, basic. And yeah, in order to like overcome the struggles I've had in this chapter, I had to use a lot of practice problems again, and using the study guides, the Alex practice problems, since they're a little bit harder than what we're learning. It's makes the questions seem easy on the exam. And also trying to put the concepts into my own words really helps me stick and understand the lessons.
Hi, so one of the things I found to be most difficult in this chapter were the Henderson-Hasselbalch equations, and figuring out when to use them and when to convert certain things. And what helped me the most, it was definitely a lot of practice problems, especially with the Alex. Another thing I struggled with was the buffers, figuring out what's a good buffer, and truly understanding the definition of a good buffer. And I just had to once again use practice problems that would ask me, like, which one of these is a good buffer, like which one of these is the definition of a buffer, to fully understand everything. And in this chapter, something that I really actually didn't have a lot of trouble with was the solubility products and titrations. I found those to be a little easier because I understood them from the reading and the lectures. So, yeah.